Our greatest weakness lies in giving up. The most certain way to succeed is to always try just one more time. Thomas Edison. I remember hearing a story about Thomas Edison after he had invented the light bulb, and a reporter asked him, what if the filament, the carbon filament he finally discovered after testing hundreds, in fact, I think it was a couple of thousand, Thomas Edison, sort of with a bemused kind of chagrin, looked at the reporter and said, well, I would still be in the lab. He would never have given up. And that's the kind of commitment that you need. And all we ask is 10 to 15 minutes each and every day following price movement, being bound and determined that you're going to learn how this works. And when you look back over time with the charts that we have, particularly here on the S&P 500, you go back in time, of course, we can go back a year, you see one real fake out right here. That's all the way back in May of 2022. It did get real screwy right in here, we will admit, most recently, late August, early September. But again, turning right back around for us. We captured, a 1.62. Nice little gain there in a little less than 2 weeks. Things went a little bit further and then turned around, tried to go up, didn't really do much of anything, died on the vine. Now, if you recall, we didn't have the kind of volume that we like, and we did not end up pulling the trigger on that. I tracked that for you nonetheless, but I wasn't excited about it. Didn't have the kind of volume I like to get me into anything. As we saw things starting out on this last go-round, we had average volume heating up last week. And of course, on the S&P 500, moving down this week as we jump into Monday. Doing this a little early. There's still about 45 minutes left in the market. Down just around 0.5%. As we look at the 2-day chart, you do see a spinning top right here so far. Now that is the Friday, Monday. We'll see how it finishes up. We are in the green, almost tagged out here, 1.83%. It made about 1.82%, not quite down enough. And we see things are, of course, back into the green rather nicely. And we're still not down at the bottom yet. So we'll keep an eye on things. Remember, what do? Well, when we hit our sell point, of course, we sell half the trade, and we typically let the other half ride to see, again, it's playing out your profits. You don't ever want to stop your profits if you don't have to. So we take half our trade, sell that based upon 2 times the average true range. Those you've taken our training on the average true range, you've listened to the show, you know how we do it. If you don't and you'd like some more specialized training on that, reach out to us, cw@chartingwealth.com. I'll probably make a special extra training for you if you're still confused about it. So let's move on from where we are on the S&P 500 to the NASDAQ 100. Again, as we look at the half-day chart, we'll move this up a little bit. You can see where it bottomed there on Wednesday, the 27th of September in the afternoon, started going up the 28th, popped up in the morning on Friday the 29th, and is really just sliding along sideways. It's up a little bit, about 0.25% right now. As we look at things, we'll go tune into the weekly chart. You can see still moving in the right direction, a red down candle, but we had decent strength last week as far as the volume goes. Hopefully, again, as we say, all things being equal, the market tends to move in the direction of the largest chart. We've not hit our loss band at this point. We're right near the break-even point, so let's give it a little longer, see which way it's going to go. We do see on that 2-day chart that we've got a green candle forming and quite a bit of volume. Now that could be topping out volume. We'll see. We'll wait. We'll watch. Let's look at where we are now. Move along to 20-year bonds. Accelerating down 1.87%. Is that just not beautiful? I'll redraw this for you. Let's zoom in. I like to zoom in when I draw trend lines and make sure that, yeah, that did not look that would be accurate. There we go. much better there. And of course, we can see things moving in the right direction. Look at all that volume on the 2-day. You can see that really high volume last week on the weekly, accelerating that down further, and things just moving in the right direction. Remember, had bonds take off, and of course, we made a nice 2.45% profit, then popped up and then restarted everything again as we watched that green spinning top, that green shooting star die, and then things start moving down. So that is where we are as we look at 20-year bonds again on the 2-day and the half-day, well below that weekly trend line. What about gold? Well, as we take a look at gold, it's down 1.02%. We talked about jumping in last week on Friday. I know many of you did. And of course, for that, so far you've been rewarded with 1% in a down move just for today. And of course, as we look at the 2-day, we can see it accelerating. Look at all that energy as far as volume goes. That is like oxygen to a fire. Same here as we see gold pulling back and moving down strong. Where might gold stop? Well, it stopped at that 168.02 mark last time. We will keep a close eye on that. I'm ready for gold to take off. We saw it, try to take off and then die. Didn't quite get that 1.48% on that down play there. If I remember correctly, it just didn't quite hit the tag, then slid sideways up a little bit, and now, though, rolling over hard, accelerating down. Look at all that volume last week to start this off. So that's beautiful. Lastly, we go to Bitcoin, and after a week of some halting movement and all, after we had that first week, again, volume didn't help us out at all to jump into this. Volume, as we can see last week, that negative volume there, again, wasn't even up to average. We see Bitcoin trying to pop up now. My friends, again, I've rarely been excited about this Bitcoin chart because it's so hard to find any pattern that actually works. Although I guess the only pattern, maybe this is enough for some of you, is I've seen after the beginning of the year, Bitcoin pop up for around 4 weeks or so, and then slide sideways and down, pop up again for another 4 weeks or so, pop up again for another 4 weeks or so, each time pulling back but not hitting the lower lows. So slowly but surely edging its way up from where it started at the beginning of the year at $16.86 up to currently $26.96. So again, I mean, it's not quite 2 times, but again, moving up. So I don't know how you trade that kind of pattern. Just buy when it turns green. That wouldn't have worked here. That wouldn't have worked here. It wouldn't have worked here again. It had to pull not all the way back, but back more substantially, and then took off. So that's just not the kind of patterns that I trade. But we'll wait, watch, and see. Enough going on in Bitcoin that maybe we'll find something that we can bank on. We'll continue to track it because you asked me to. That is where we are, folks, as we end the day on Monday. Another exciting week. We're in it. Stay with us 10 to 15 minutes each and every day. You appreciate what we do. Support us as a Patreon member. Just follow the link. All the best. God bless from the whole team at Charting Wealth World Headquarters.